Samadhi Gurus, thank you so much for joining for a festive yoga chats. And everyone who's tuning in at home, thank you for joining for our 2022 festive yoga chats. How are you all?
Good.
Good.
Great. Are you starting to wind down a little bit for Christmas?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Siobhan?
Trying to, but I've been really busy the past few weeks, and I was hoping to have this week free. We're going to New York on Wednesday, not this Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. So there's so much to do before that, so much, but I'm not going to complain. Yeah.
It's a good complaint to have, going to New York. How long will you go for, Siobhan?
Almost 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been 2 years now since I've been home, so we're all looking forward to it. The kids are all looking forward to it. We're going to the Nutcracker in Lincoln Center. The kids are really excited. So it should be good fun.
That'll be wonderful. That'll be even just seeing them back over there, reconnecting with your stateside family. That'll be so nice. We'll have to drag you back over here in 2022.
Yeah.
And Mel, what are you up to?
Well, hopefully tomorrow I'm getting on an aeroplane as well. Coming not to Ireland, but going to Tenerife. I'm doing it.
Lovely. Do it. And will you ever come back?
Well, I'm trying this travel thing again, which is, to just test how it feels to do a complete getaway type holiday, far away into the sun. And then I don't know, Greg. I mean, it's hard to feel. I feel at the moment it is about being in the moment. So much being in the moment. Plans are even kind of thinking it's Christmas. It's like, what does that mean anymore?
I know.
I mean, the great thing is that, I think this connection over this year and last year, through the whole of the pandemic, with all the lovely Samadhi students, every class, to open up and Zoom and see these faces and these people, it's just been, honestly, that's the gift to me. And that's in the moment, that joining of that class. So to sort of be planning is, I don't know, I just feel at the moment I'm not really, I can't. I just go with it. It's happening. I'm getting on a plane tomorrow. I'm going to the sun. Yes.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. And I think there's a couple of things we could do with talking about in what you said there in the moment. What the heck is Christmas anymore? And I agree with you. And I've said it. We've all said it. Being able to connect with people, even in the height of the lockdowns, people showing up, and especially we're mostly teaching, unless we're teaching, some of us are back teaching in the studio a tiny bit, but most people want to tune in via Zoom. And like last night, 2 classes, and basically everyone comes around to my gaff and we do yoga. It's really nice. It's really nice. And I know it's kept me going through 2 really weird years. So, and I think 2022 is going to be another really weird year. And we'll probably start to find a little bit of something recognizable as normal, but it's not going to be the old way. So, Maria, what are you up to for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's unusual. Christmas is an unusual kind of time for me because, has been for the past few years, past 10 or so, because I work in the not-for-profit sector and I work in business development marketing, like for my real job. And we basically start working on Christmas in July. So by the time Christmas comes around, I'm like so over it already that I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to use these couple of days to see my family and sleep. So that is I suppose, the goal for me is actually just to have a few days just like completely off, and having that time where I can just like fully relax, like be around my family. My husband is going to spend his Christmas Day with his parents, and I'm actually going to be going to Roscommon to spend it with my parents. Just because it's, we don't have children, so we can do that. We kind of don't have to all decamp to one house or the other, and it makes things a bit easier. I'm just looking forward to not really doing too much. But kind of a little bit like Mel, like I kind of use this time for a little bit of reflection, and I always find, it's good to reflect as well as look forward, and I kind of like that sort of downtime between kind of when we finish up for Christmas and when we kind of start back in the new year, to kind of do that little bit of reflection. And it's not necessarily active, it's kind of like, or not necessarily like, that where you're sitting down like meditating on it. I mean, like, during the long walks and getting out and all of that, just kind of, I suppose it's processing really more than reflecting. And I kind of looking forward to doing that. And it's been a crazy kind of few years, all right. But to echo what everyone has said, I mean, having this online community has been so strengthening. And I've found it to be very nurturing for myself. I've found that it's given me a lot of courage on days where I have really not felt very courageous at all. It's been quite nice. The one thing I suppose that I really dislike about this time of year is the whole like New Year, New You, CRAP. Cannot stand it. Every day is a chance to be like a new you, not like the old you, by the way, needs changing, but every day is a chance, to do something new and to do something different. And I really hope that if people do anything, is to try to take the pressure off, kind of a little bit like what Mel had said, like not planning, not putting too much pressure on yourself. Every day is a chance to make a new goal and to strive for something else. But also maybe not being too tied to plans too much, because as we know, things can just change. So being able to kind of be a little bit more fluid is kind of what I'm hoping for next year, as opposed to making any resolutions or anything like that. So that's kind of where I am.
Yeah. Do you know, I sent out a newsletter. I'm not promoting the newsletter. I send one out each week. I think a few people enjoy reading it. And sometimes it's just, this is what's happening. And sometimes I try to write something. And so last week I thought, I want to say something meaningful, or not even meaningful, but something interesting. And so I thought, well, I don't want to just, this is what we're doing, this is great, you should join up. It feels mercenary. I want people to enjoy it and sometimes respond. So I thought I'll ask people what have they done last year that they are proud of or enjoyed, because it has been such a funny year. And I thought, well, I need to give them something in return. So what do I feel like sort of as Samadhi I've done and we've done? And so I made a list, and at the end of it I was like, well, that's all right, isn't it? Like there was the blog and the podcast and the discourse and that course and the teacher training that was entirely online, and then another that was that is now partly online, and what else I can't remember, but I sat back and I was like, that's actually not bad. So I found the lack of social time and lack of going to the movies and that kind of thing has forced me into a certain amount of youthful and joyful productivity, which is good. Anya, what are you going to be up to?
Well, kind of echoing what everybody else said, it's not really sort of about I used to put a lot of pressure on myself basically for the Christmas day and have the perfect experience, the sort of the Coca-Cola commercial type of one. But the last few years I've been working more with the Celtic calendar. So it's more about, like what Maria was saying, like kind of slowing down and reflecting. So even though I am quite busy at the moment, I'm making time to like just sit maybe in the darkness for about 5 minutes, because when I do that, like when we go still, a lot of ideas and inspiration come up, and I feel like that's kind of what's happening for me. And then moving towards like you know, that sort of New Year vibe would be more sort of around February time. So these next few months will be sort of just that sort of settling in and waiting and listening to see what's going to come next. And like what Maria said as well, it's not about like that New Year, New You time, but like evolving into something else, seeing what's going to come next in my life. So yeah, that's really what I'm doing at the moment. Obviously, I'll spend Christmas Day with family, but other than that, it's just sort of downtime, trying to make as much downtime as I can.
You can't knock downtime though.
Oh
Siobhan, will you have a lot of downtime when you're in New York? No.
No, I already know that, but I'm really appreciative. Like, I have 4 kids, so we're all going over to my parents, and my parents are getting older, so I know that I'm going to be cooking Christmas dinner. I know that I'm going to be cooking, but I'm just happy to be there. So I suppose in a way that's downtime. I enjoy doing it anyway, but I know I'll be busy. I won't get to, I don't think I'll be getting any kind of long sleeps or naps in during the day, but I will get to spend it with my family, you know, my husband and my children, but also my parents and my brothers and sisters and their children. And so, you know, it'll be a joyful time, I'm sure. Busy, but joyful. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
It's really good for the soul though, especially when you haven't seen them. Like, it mightn't necessarily you might be active, but you're getting that soul nourishment and that kind of connection, like personal connection, like, which is a really amazing gift to be able to experience. So it sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's really lovely. It's a really interesting kind of dynamic because, you know, my parents haven't seen my kids in a little bit over 2 years now, but it's not that they see them every week on Zoom. So, you know, they've kind of seen how big they've gotten and how they've kind of matured and just changed, their personalities developing. But at the same time, it'll be so much different in person. And then my youngest, he's 9. So, you know, this is probably his last year for Santa, probably. So it's kind of nice that we're there with my parents as well for that, you know, because he's their youngest grandchild at this point. So yeah.
I think it's just really interesting because it's that thing of like you say, Siobhan, you know, you're able to, because of Zoom, because of this technology, we still, you know, still feel in touch in that sense. But I think on the other hand, what we've just been saying about, you know, actually being in touch with the cycle of life and the changes of the year, like for me, something that's been amazing, and usually in the winter, I find it really hard, you know, the dark, I really do. But I practice every morning with a teacher called Uday. And Uday, his class is at like 7 in the morning. So, you know, you're online doing that. But I've been doing it in the dark, obviously, because I go in, I turn the light on so I can set the computer up and everything. And then there's the screen. And then during that hour of morning practice, I happen to be in a beautiful room with windows looking over the hills where the sun starts to rise and the light starts to come. And, you know, that feeling of what would have been my habit before is, oh, it's winter, I don't like winter, it's dark. Actually, you know, again, there's the gift coming to me through the online screen, the class I'm doing, but also, you know, it's all around me, and I start my day with that feeling of the light coming in, you know, through the yoga and through the windows and into my body. So I think it's just, you know, how we connect with this Zoom online world has given us a lot of opportunities, not just to be techie, but also to be real people, you know. Sorry, that was a bit like...
No, that is so lovely. That is so lovely. Yeah, that is a great way to, in a way, celebrate winter. So, and a great way to get your practice in. So, yeah, that is brilliant. And Mel, how long are you going to go over to Tenerife for?
2 weeks.
Okay, great.
I don't know which country we'll be allowed back into after.
And you're going to still you're teaching a couple of classes, so you'll be teaching from there. I love it.
Yeah.
That is so
I
good.
just told them this morning, I said, by the way, on Friday, I might be bringing you a gift from a new room.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very, I don't know, I think, again, it's like just being in the moment and making, you know, something it's a possibility that has arisen, and I'm going to go for it.
Absolutely, it's wonderful, really great. I'm going to jump topic because I know some of you need to go, and it's been really great, not just yet, but in a few minutes. It's been really lovely hearing about what you're doing over the next few weeks. And another time we might talk about what Christmas means to you, because I think, you know, it means different things these days to what it would have back in the day. But I'm dead curious what you're going to have for Christmas dinner. I've gotten very into my food. So does anyone want to share?
I'll start.
Go on.
Basically, I come from a farm and a family full of carnivores, but I don't eat meat. But my mom is great. She will normally buy a really lovely piece of organic salmon. So I do eat fish. So I'll have, when they're all digging into the turkey and ham, I'll have a really nice piece of organic salmon. And then I'll have everything else. Like my mum makes the stuffing separate from the bird. So I'm able to have the stuffing and the roasties, and yeah, I'm actually really salivating about that.
Look at you, yeah. You're all ready for it. Give it to me now. Well, I wanted last year. Now I go through phases of being veggie and being almost vegan to sometimes then if I'm feeling a bit wan, I will eat a little bit of meat. And last year I decided I wanted to stop that and just go pure veggie. And but I used to always, like for years I was quite rigid veggie, but then I got into, if I go to someone's house, I'll eat whatever they put in front of me. But this year I decided I don't want to eat the bird and all of that. So but I equally, I don't want to be a pain and arrive and expect that someone needs to cook something separate for me. So I've got my vegan chestnut and cashew nut roast made and in the freezer, ready to be just thrown into the oven on the day. And it's really tasty. I must send around the recipe to you. And it was dead easy, really. And I found Jamie Oliver did a really nice vegan gravy. And there was quite a bit of work in that, but absolutely worth it. So I'll be traveling up to Drogheda with my chestnut roast and my vegan gravy and fighting.
You need to start including a recipe section in the newsletter, Greg.
I think I do. Yes, and you all have to be involved in that. Yeah, absolutely. And I made Christmas pudding. Actually, last year I made Christmas pudding, and there was two left over. So I thought, well, I'm going to just keep them for next year. So once a month, a good dollop of rum. And so, Mel, you may laugh, it's the only way to keep them. And now there's more rum than pudding going on, but they are. And but the thing is, I'm going to steam them for an hour, so the alcohol will be off. So don't judge me, but the flavor will be all there. And
what about when you set light to them, Greg?
So
I mean, with that much rum,
well, I might pour one final dollop on and set light. Yeah, and hopefully the whole house won't go up. And this year I made for next year, so we've got next year's pudding. And then my mother was saying she'd like to. She sent me a Christmas cake recipe and said, what do you think of this? And I just got a sense from her. She loves making the cake and all, and she was like, I just don't feel like it this year. So I said, well, I make it. And usually if I said that, she'd, oh, no, that'd get her. But she said, yeah, go, give it a go. So I made the Christmas cake. And then I made Stollen, German Christmas cake. And Quiva reminded me yesterday, I think that Stollen is ready now, because you make it and you put it away for 2 weeks. And it's sort of, the juice is all. Anyway, last night we cut the Stollen. and it was great. So I'm all about the food this year. Anyone else?
Did you put rum on that as well, Greg?
Hold on, what did I put? Yeah, the Stollen got rum as well. The Christmas cake isn't getting rum, it's getting cherry brandy. So, you know,
Greg
that will not evaporate.
Episode 498. Yeah.
Oh, we might need to have a pure food yoga chat. Anya, what are you doing for Christmas food?
Well, I will be having it with my family, and we've got me, the vegan, and someone else, a celiac. So everyone would get worried when we were coming over. What would we do for these pair? But I will make a gluten-free vegan stuffing to accompany whatever else goes on the table, and we'll also have the gluten-free vegan gravy. But other than that, it's just all the veg for me. Like, you know, there's no need to worry when I come over, because just stick a load of veg on a plate and I'll be grand, and I'll douse it in the gravy and have the stuffing, and like heaven. Yeah, and wear stretchy pants.
Essential. Mel, well, you'll be probably having some kind of tapas, will you?
Greg, I'll have to come back to you about that when I've had it.
Okay.
I just know one thing is, like, the last time I was there, we bought this sack of oranges, like for €4, and it was, you know, this tall sack, which were the best oranges ever. So, and you just got them on the roadside. You can squeeze them, make the most amazing juice. You know, it's just that taste of sun-kissed fruit and vegetables is what I'm looking forward to.
Right, the raw veg, just the raw material over there is such good quality. Yeah. Siobhan, you'll be cooking everything, I'd imagine, for the whole family.
I'll be cooking everything, yeah. But I come from a family of carnivores as well, and I actually do eat meat, so I feel terrible as a yogi.
No, you are who you are.
So I am making a turkey, but a couple of my sisters are vegetarians and their partners. So my sister was actually here for Thanksgiving with her partner, and I made this beautiful mushroom Wellington. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to make that. My mom has already asked me to make that for my other sister and her husband. But like that, all the sides are made completely meat-free, you know, only veg stock and, you know, no stuffing in the turkey. But then the desserts, I have my 2 girls who love to bake, so they'll be helping there. And then even here, I make every year these, they're Neapolitan cookies. They're Italian, they're like New York Italian cookies. They're stunningly delicious, but they take like 24 hours to make, so I have to get moving on that. And I've been making rugula as well, which is like a Jewish American thing. So
actually,
I'm neither Jewish nor Italian, but
I'm actually going to try the arugula because I saw them recently. I was like, oh my God, they look amazing. And they're actually not overcomplicated. So nice with some coffee. It's like, yeah, that's my goal is like I'm actually just bought the cream cheese and everything. So I'm going to do that this
they're
weekend.
absolutely delicious. And they're really easy to make, and they're really yummy on Christmas morning.
Wow. Can we, Christmas morning, we'll be hopefully having the Stollen if it lasts. I did make 3 of them. Come here, I know people need to go, but last year I made Stollen and I didn't read to the end of the recipe. Does anyone ever do that? And I missed the last bit, and I was, you know, you roll it out and you put a roll of the marzipan and you fold it over and all this, and I'm doing big gestures because it was huge. You know, the baking tray that comes with the oven, diagonally it wouldn't fit in that, and I was people still laughs about the Stollen meltdown I was having. How did this happen? And then I managed to get it in, and it was kind of more like a Stollen tray bake than a Stollen. And it tasted great, but in it went, and I was like, for flip's sake. And I went and I read, and at the very end it said, this will make 2 large or 2 medium-sized loaves of Stollen. So what can you do? Can I wrap it up now? And but before I do, can I ask you, we've had some really interesting food discussions. So we might need to share some recipes, okay? Definitely. And Mel, you can't share the recipe for your amazing sack of oranges, but come back and tell us how amazing they were. So let's talk food again in the new year. In the meantime, Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, everybody.